You don't want to go out, you don't want to go home. What do you want to do, Andy?
I don't want you to take me home.
Wait, I'm missing something. I'm not a jerk here. I don't understand what you're saying. Wait a minute.
Go.
Don't walk away. Wait a minute. I'm
just
talking
please.
to you.
I just don't want you.
Why?
Don't you understand
No, I
me?
don't. At all.
Will you
obviously.
listen to me? I don't want you to take me home.
Okay, why? What is the problem?
Because I don't want you to see where I live, okay?
What?
Pretty in Pink is a 1986 romantic teenage comedy drama film written by John Hughes and directed by Howard Deutsch in his directorial debut. It would go on to be remembered as an iconic classic of the 1980s and the so-called Brat Pack genre. Molly Ringwald stars as high school senior Andy Walsh, who lives in the Chicago suburbs with her unemployed father Jack, played by Harry Dean Stanton. Both of them are trying to get by ever since Andy's mother decided to leave them. Andy spends much of her time with her best friend Philip Dale, better known as Ducky, played by John Cryer. Ducky is in love with Andy, but is too afraid to tell her how he feels.
I wanted to talk to you about Andy.
Yeah?
I mean, she's an incredible individual. I mean, you know that. I mean, I'm there for her. Whenever, however, I'm there. You can rest assured that she's covered. I don't want you to worry, because my only future plans are to make sure that she's taken care of.
That's nice of you, Phil.
And I'd like to marry her. Oh, well, not today, but eventually, I figure.
Well, does Andy know how you feel about this?
Oh, no confirmation on that just yet. I mean, I'm laying the groundwork and everything. I'm thinking in terms of housing, food, basic needs type of stuff. But I'm picking my moment.
In school, Andy and Ducky are often bullied by the popular rich kids, including Steph McGee, played by James Spader, and his girlfriend Benny Hansen, played by Kate Vernon.
I've liked you for 4 years and you treat me like shit, I don't understand that. What's the problem?
Can you get off of my car?
I've been out with a lot of girls at this school. I don't see what makes you so different.
I have some taste.
You're a bitch.
Andy works at the local record store alongside her older friend and boss Iona, played by Annie Potts. One day, in walks popular and wealthy high school senior Blaine McDonough, played by Andrew McCarthy. Blaine takes a liking to Andy, who feels the same way about him, but both of them soon feel pressure from the outside from the obvious class differences between the two.
I don't know, it's just too weird for me, maybe this shouldn't happen.
What, you and me? Well, maybe it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't mean it isn't right? Doesn't mean you can't try. Feel any better if I asked you to the prom? I mean, I know the prom's kind of lame, so if you don't want to go, it's really no big deal.
Blaine gets crapped from Steph over trying to date a poor girl, while Ducky gets jealous over the fact that Andy wants to date Blaine instead of him.
You really pissed me off, because they shit all over everybody, including you. I can't believe you'd be this stupid.
Who's shitting on me? I'm not gonna let anybody shit on me.
He's gonna use your ass and throw you away. God, I would have died for you.
I hate him because he's got money. That's the exact same thing as them hating us because we don't. Do you understand?
You can't do this and respect yourself.
You're talking like that just because I'm going out with Blaine.
Blaine? His name is Blaine? Oh, that's a major appliance. That's not a name.
Just because I'm going out with Blaine doesn't mean I can't be friends with you.
Can two high school seniors from different sides of the tracks find true love?
What about prom?
Come on, why don't we just meet after school?
No! What about prom?
Andy, come on.
Just say it.
What?
Just say it. I want to hear you say it.
Andy, please, all right?
I want to hear you say it.
A month ago, I asked somebody else and I forgot.
You're a liar! You're a filthy fucking no-go liar! You didn't have the guts to tell me the truth! Just say it!
I'm not lying.
Tell me!
What?
Tell me!
What do you want to hear?
Just tell me!
What?
You're ashamed to be seen with
No,
me.
I am
You're
not.
ashamed
I
to go
am not.
out with me. You're afraid. You're terrified that your goddamn rich friends won't approve.
The genesis of this project emerged when Molly Ringwald asked John Hughes to write a movie based on the psychedelic Furs song Pretty in Pink, which was her favorite song at the time. John Hughes, who had written and directed many iconic 1980s films, including 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club, wrote this movie, but it was directed by Howard Deutsch in his directorial debut. This movie was filmed at the same Los Angeles high school where they filmed the iconic 1978 hit, Grease. Tatum O'Neal, Lori Loughlin, Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, Jennifer Beals, and Diane Lane were all considered for the role of Andy. The filmmakers wanted the character of Blaine to be a hunky, square-jawed jock. But Molly Ringwald wasn't attracted to that kind of guy. Molly Ringwald had some say in the casting, and after Andrew McCarthy auditioned, she told John Hughes and Howard Deutsch, "That's the kind of guy I would fall in love with." Their reaction was, "Really? Andrew McCarthy?" But Molly Ringwald pushed for his casting, and he does a great job in this movie. James Spader was offered the role of Blaine, but he chose to take the role of Steph instead. He finds it more fun playing villains.
You know, if you got a hard-on for trash, don't take care of it around us, pal, all right?
Right, buddy.
Listen, I don't need a lot of shit on this one, Blaine, all right? I really don't. Well, why are you doing this, you know? Why don't you just nail her and get it over with? You know, why are you getting involved?
Is there something wrong with that?
I just think it's stupid, you know? It's pointless.
Anthony Michael Hall turned down the role of Ducky because he didn't want to be typecast, and he felt that the film was kind of a rehash of 16 Candles. This is Molly Ringwald's favorite movie among all the films she did. She said they were all like her babies and it would be impossible to choose one over the other. Molly Ringwald said if she had to choose one as the best, it would probably be The Breakfast Club because of the script being the strongest, but that she enjoyed Pretty in Pink the most because it was fun acting out a prom experience which she never got to experience herself in high school. Molly Ringwald hated the pink prom dress she had to wear. Andy's prom dress was created from two dresses. Costume designer Marilyn Vance bought the dresses from two locations in Los Angeles, cut them apart, then reassembled them into one pink dress. This movie was actress Kristy Swanson's film debut. She was recommended by John Hughes for the non-speaking role of Duckette, who only appears in the reshot ending. Hughes had liked her when she played a small role in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which was released later that same year in 1986.
Bueller?
He's sick. My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid who's going with the girl who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night. I guess it's pretty serious.
Thank you, Simone.
No problem whatsoever.
This was also the film debut of actress Margaret Collin, who would star in two iconic films in the 10 years following this movie: Three Men and a Baby in 1987 and Independence Day in 1996. In spite of their chemistry on screen, John Cryer has stated that both of his co-stars, Molly Ringwald and Andrew McCarthy, found him irritating from day one. John Cryer, who describes himself as a very outgoing person, believed that his outgoing attitude was the reason he never got along with the more reserved Molly Ringwald and Andrew McCarthy. In 1999, John Hughes said, quote, "When I started making movies, I thought I would just invent a town where everything happened. Everybody in all of my movies is from Shermer, Illinois. Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles lives 2 doors down from John Bender. Ferris Bueller knew Samantha Baker from 16 Candles." This movie takes place in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois, making Pretty in Pink a likely addition to the Shermer, Illinois John Hughes universe. John Hughes was unhappy with the ending. He wanted Andy to get together with Ducky. However, the test audiences wanted to see Blaine and Andy reuniting as a couple. Additionally, Molly Ringwald was sick during the filming of the final scene, and John Hughes wasn't satisfied with the editing. John Hughes was also concerned that audiences would take the original ending as a message that poor people and rich people could never fall in love. In the documentary Brats, released in June 2024, directed by Andrew McCarthy himself, Andrew McCarthy sat down with Howard Deutsch, the director of Pretty in Pink, and they discussed the lost ending of this movie.
The test screening was a disaster. The original ending was she goes with John, you have a date, and they walk into the dance circle and they start to dance and it becomes a swirl of pink and it's over. And booing like I've never heard in my life. Screaming, booing, yelling, throwing things. It was like, what?
When the ending was reshot, all of the principal cast members had to be called back. Andrew McCarthy had already lost a huge amount of weight and shaved his head for a new role in a New York City play called The Boys of Winter.
I was in New York doing a play, and my head was shaved because I was playing a Marine, so they had to make me a wig. And it was such a bad wig. I always joked that if they'd known that we'd still be talking about it 35 years later, they would have paid for a better wig. It was a terrible wig, and it just sat on my head like some bird's nest and gave me such a forlorn and sad look. So all I had to do was go up to Molly and say, I love you, or whatever the line was.
To make the ending he wanted, John Hughes wrote virtually the same movie all over again the following year called Some Kind of Wonderful, also directed by Howard Deutsch. Hughes wanted Molly Ringwald to star in that picture as well, but she refused. Reportedly, John Hughes took it personally, and they never worked together again, although other reports say their working relationship ended in other ways. Regardless, Pretty in Pink is the last collaboration between John Hughes and Molly Ringwald, who was his muse in the 1980s. Richard Butler, the lead singer for the British rock band the Psychedelic Furs, said in an interview that John Hughes misunderstood the meaning of the song Pretty in Pink. He said Pretty in Pink was meant to describe a tragic girl reduced to nothingness, reduced to her pink nakedness, not wearing a pink dress. The song was originally released in 1981, but was re-released in 1986 for the soundtrack of this movie, and it would reach number 41 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 18 on the UK singles charts. The British band Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, better known as OMD, was asked by writer John Hughes for a new song to match the feel of the new ending, and he also specified that it should be the tempo of 120 beats per minute to match the speed of Don't You Forget About Me, the hit song from his 1985 film The Breakfast Club, which the actors had danced to during the filming of this movie. The request came 2 days before OMD was set to begin a tour, and as a result, If You Leave was written and recorded in under 24 hours. It was a huge hit, reaching number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts in May of 1986. This song would be remembered into the 21st century as one of the most iconic pop songs of the 1980s. When Andy and Ducky are in the car driving home, he hears a song with a saxophone and changes the station saying, "I hate this song." The song is If You Leave, which is played at the end when Andy chooses Blaine over Ducky at the prom. This could be seen as a foreshadowing of what would happen to Ducky later in the movie. Pretty in Pink entered American movie theaters on February 28, 1986, and grossed a total of $40.5 million on a $9 million budget. This movie was released just 10 days after Molly Ringwald's 18th birthday. I remember seeing the second half of this movie on television with my father sometime in the mid-2000s. I finally watched the film from start to finish in January 2020, and I found it to be pretty enjoyable. However, this is far from my favorite John Hughes film, and if you asked me to choose between this movie and 16 Candles, I'd choose 16 Candles 100% of the time. I think the class warfare aspect to this plot sort of drags the mood down, and Molly Ringwald's character, along with the paternal abandonment from her mother, does give the movie an undercurrent of sadness. I was actually going to give this movie a 6-star rating, but due to its iconic nature as a very memorable addition to the so-called Brat Pack genre, I'll go ahead and give it a 7-star rating. Pretty in Pink is a must-see for any fan of Molly Ringwald, John Hughes movies, or iconic 1980s cinema.